Guys, they said Oletik cried her eyes out over the way Kabiyesi spoke to her. According to the information, they said she did something that did not please the king. And this is not the first time she's doing things like that. But with the way she's going about it, the king needs to speak to her. As in, he needs to let her know that I understand this your new system, because it's not all the time that you keep quiet over certain things, especially when that is bringing so much problems and all of that. We all know that Oletik thought that maybe by the time she have these twins, she will be the favorite. She will be the king's favorite. As a matter of fact, the king will value her more than the original queen. So, but unfortunately, things did not work out the way she expected. And from the look of things, she doesn't want to be complaining, because to her, she claims that whenever she is being marginalized and she complains, they will say she is against the original queen and all of that. So right now, they say she have withdrawn herself completely. She have developed some kind of coldness, that the only thing that matters to her is her and her twins. It's all about her and her kids. Anything that is, if you're not talking about her and her kids, you're not bringing any serious topic, you know. And they said the way she's been withdrawn, people have been asking questions, people have been concerned, you know, and it's beginning to look like the king doesn't care again. And right now, they say what she does is always being on her own. That the only time you see her outside is when she's going to her shop. If she's not going to her shop or her business area, she is inside. You hardly see her with other Oloris. You hardly see her in any gathering or any meeting and all of that. Even when she comes out, maybe it is a mandatory that she will come. Her attitude will tell you that all is not well and everything. So this is not going well with the king at all. And right now, they said the day that Ebony's son celebrated her birthday, they said there is this particular ritual that is supposed to be done for the boy. They call it the cleansing ritual, the blessing ritual, and everything. And it is expected that all the wives will be part of that occasion. They said even gospel, who have a program in Uganda, postponed it for the sake of that occasion, you know. And the one person that is supposed to even bring out her own children to come and support the boy, because they said despite everything that is happening in that palace, when it has to do with the king's child or any child in that palace, they don't discriminate. They don't do this is I am not in good time with you and all of that. But somehow I will blame the king. You know why I'll say somehow? Because during the time that Oletik they were welcomed back into the palace, if you guys remember, Ebony was in the palace that day, but she did not come out to come and support her. And now that Oletik is doing her own, the king is blasting her. Anyway, the king is a king and will always want peace in his house. But I think, or if I'm to say, I will say that he should have started from the beginning and not now. But all the same, nobody wants his family to spoil. He will do anything just to make sure that everyone is in order. So they said that day that they are doing that ritual for Ebony's son, every of the wives were present, even those that are not happy with Ebony. They were all there pretending to be happy. But Oletik wasn't there. Her children didn't come out. And you know that this is a child's birthday. Her own children are supposed to be part of that birthday, but for where she did not want them to come and all of that. And that did not go well with the king. They said the king was very angry. And come to think of it, they said the king even sent someone. They sent someone to go and call her to come out and join the others. She did not come. They sent another person. She did not come. They decided to let her be, you know, only for her to come out the next day to come and start asking for money, you know, because they said she have asked for the 80 million naira from the king before, and the king, maybe he was too busy to have given her the money and all of that. But that day that she came out to request for the money again, and the king now asked her, oh, you are not coming out because 8 million is involved. But instead of you to come out and support my son's birthday, you couldn't do it. They said the king told her that with the way you are going, with all this coldness and meanness that you are showing in this palace. If you are tired of this marriage, if you are tired of being my wife, you can quit. Yes, it is said that the king cannot say, I don't want to marry you again. But a wife have the right to say, I don't want to do again. Yes. From what we are hearing, they said in their culture and tradition, a king cannot say, I will not marry again. But there are certain things that he will do that will tell you that, he is fed up with the marriage, like that immunity remover. And the last one they are talking about right now, which is that ituase. So by the time it got to that extent, it will be clear to you that the king is saying, I don't want, indirectly. But as a wife, if you are in that marriage and you think that, this is not what I expected, it's a case of what I ordered versus what I got, you can get up and say, I don't want again. And the king will bless you if he wants to. You can go your separate way. Because the first wife of the king, that bombata of a woman, they said she made up her mind not to continue and she left. Same thing with Wurola. Wurola said, I don't want again. The king blessed her and she left. Although in original queen's case, the king doesn't want her to go. And coupled with the fact that she have the king's first son. So for her to go like that is not going to be easy. So when she decided to go, the king did not allow that. But here, the king is telling Oletik that if you are fed up with this marriage, instead of being withdrawn the way you are doing, or developing this level of coldness and always trying to avoid everyone, that the best thing for you to do is to quit. Quit the marriage. Yes, now, because I don't see the reason why you will say that you don't like crowd. You don't like to be associating with other wives. You don't belong to any group. You don't do anything with any of them. And yet, you are not the first wife. Because if you are the first wife, they'll say, okay, maybe because she did not see it coming. She did not know that the king will marry other wives and all of that. But you are, I think, the third one or so. So that simply means that you already know that this is a polygamous section and you entered there. It's something that you signed on your own with your eyes wide open. So there's no how you just wake up and start acting as if you were forced to make such decision. You made that decision. So whatever comes out of it is expected that you take it in good faith. So being withdrawn is not the best thing to do. And instead of always bringing shame to the king, because that is what it looks like every time, they'll be asking if this particular wife of yours is okay. Is there any problem? This, that. Instead of bringing or causing such a problem to him, why not say, I don't want again? They said the king blasted the living day life out of her. And the next thing she did was to start crying. That when she complains, they will say she complains too much. If she decides to be on her own, it will be another problem. What did they expect her to do? They said the king asked her to quit if she is done being his wife. Allegedly, that is what we are hearing if the information is true. Don't forget that these are all alleged, unverified information making rounds on social media and shouldn't be seen as fact unless we verify them, okay? Thanks for watching. Do well to subscribe to my channel, follow my page, and share this video. I love you guys. Bye. See you.